right off the bat, I just have to say that making this video is very hard. Not only because it's just a bit past the half of the season, but because we're already talking about Barcelona's next generation, about Barcelona's future team for the next few seasons. So just watch this with a pinch of salt, just a very large pinch of salt. Barcelona need a rebuild, that is for sure. They need a transition out of their shell, out of their comfort zone, out of the old bedsheets that were the golden era with Pep Guardiola. One of the biggest issues with this club stems from the desire to adhere to the old ways and not knowing when to move on. That is why I'm making this video, guys, because I want to forget that. I want to move on. But for that, I need your help as well, because we need to find out together exactly which player to sell, exactly which player to keep, and exactly which player to loan out. Join me today for a new episode of #Unfilter. Let's get this show on the road. What's going on, guys? ¿Cómo están? BugaLuis here, welcome back to the channel. And just before starting off, because it's gonna be a very time-consuming video, I just wanted to say that we've made a video analyzing everything that has happened already with Barcelona and what went wrong in that PSG game. So go there, check it out, link in the description, you know where to find it, and let's just get started. The decision to keep Marc-André ter Stegen is pretty much obvious, to be honest. A player who is struggling in Champions League performances, yeah, indeed, but it's a mental problem, it's not a quality problem. All due respect, is also something that is happening to pretty much the entire team. The German keeper has more than enough to carry this team forward, and from his ability on the field and most importantly outside of it, he is a captain in the making, and he will become one of the most important players for Barcelona in the near future. Ter Stegen is here, and Ter Stegen is going to be commanding that dressing room, and I want him to be my captain for the next team, so he of course is a keep. His substitute Neto is another situation completely, because in an ideal scenario, Neto would be a player I would be looking to keep. The 29-year-old has the quality of a superb goalkeeper, and to be honest, he should be a starter in some top European team. Possessing that much quality on the bench, it's nice. It's sort of a career mode football manager nice, but not realistically. Barcelona, in the situation financially that they found themselves in, selling Neto might be as well one of the best options to get some influx of cash that they so much desire. On the other hand, we found youngsters like Arnau Tenas and Iñaki Peña. This pair, in my opinion, have a substantial amount of experience and competent quality to compete at the first division level. Without a shadow of a doubt, this would be two players that I would like to keep and have them fighting over who should be pick 2 and pick 3 of the Barcelona goalkeeping pecking order. Starting off at right back, we begin with Serginho Dest. To be completely honest, I do not relate whatsoever into the pressure that Serginho Dest is currently going under, because I get it, but I do not understand it. He's a very, very young player. Barcelona has never had this young of a player in the right back position that he can mold into a proper player for their own system. The last player like this in a fullback was Jordi Alba, and see how he turned out. So Serginho Dest deserves time, and patience with him is key. Sergi Roberto is another case entirely. With this player, I do understand the dissatisfaction with some of the fans. A footballer that can produce moments of magic, but one that lacks a spell of consistency. Roberto does breathe Barcelona in and out though, and if I'm being as unbiased as possible, I still think he's young enough, competent enough, and polyvalent enough to give Barcelona something in their squad that if they sell, they wouldn't get back. If that were to be the case, then I would still value a player that can compete for a starting spot at Barcelona with Dest, and that should be Emerson. The Brazilian, ever since arriving in La Liga, has been producing good performances with Real Betis, and I believe he has a real chance to really cement something at Barcelona. It's his time to prove that he's worthy. Now on to center backs, we must begin off with Gerard Piqué. The 33-year-old is such a hassle, to be honest. Whilst I value his reactionary ability and demands, these are over-the-top actions that can't be validated if the one doing the shouting is not properly capacitated to compete at the highest of levels. Piqué is a good player, do not get me wrong, and he can still serve a purpose in the squad, but if we're being realistic, he's just hampering the progress of youngsters like Minguez and Araujo, and those to come. Umtiti is a player I like. I like his personality, I like what he gives to Barcelona in a time not too far gone from now. His style of play was so good and his ability to ruffle up the feathers of any attacker are honestly underestimated. But however, this version of Umtiti lacks all of that. He is slow, he's clumsy, and clearly lacking a lot of confidence. A street cone would do more, honestly. Samu is an outstanding player, he really is. When he's fit, he's up there with the top 10 defenders in the world, I am completely sure of that. But the thing is that I don't believe he will ever reach that level again. Clement Lenglet is another player that finds himself in a similar situation under the eyes of the Barcelona fans. Yet I think also, like Roberto, Clement Lenglet can serve a purpose, especially in a moment where Barcelona doesn't have the possibility to afford any luxuries. If Piqué and Umtiti leave, they go, and you keep Mingueza, Araujo and Eric Garcia, you still need one more center back. That might as well be Jean-Claire Todibo that you bring in, but I think that honestly his career at Barcelona seems kind of to be on an end. So Clement Lenglet is not a bad name to have here, it really isn't. With all of that being said, I guess that I have already hinted at Araujo, Mingueza and Eric Garcia all staying. This bunch, they honestly have incredible potential to become a part of Barcelona's next generation and their squad to follow. But Araujo, he has the ability, the talent, the know-how to be one of the best in the world. So sell him, loan him, we must not. With the left back, especially Jordi Alba, it's very simple because I would actually let him go immediately, although his sale shall be conditioned by the signing of a new left back in the summer transfer window. If Firpo is to leave, which seems like one of the most, I would say, reliable chances for Barcelona to get some money in, then Barca would be letting go of their also secondary left back. Alejandro Balde then, if that were to happen, should be promoted into the first team. But in the spirit of transition and rebooting our entire squad, I still do believe that letting go of Jordi Alba, if possible, should be something that Barcelona take a look at. Now moving on to the midfield, let's start at the bottom of the three, Sergio Busquets. Busquets is a player who has given this club his all, and most importantly has been a perfect definition of the way Barcelona has been able to achieve the greatness that they once possessed. But very similarly to this club, Busquets is worsening and is in need of a revamp. The problem with Busquets is not the reduced running or the lack of movements, it's up here. Busquets has never been about that. Busquets has never been about the physicality. Sergio Busquets was all about his brain ticking, predicting the every move, but even that doesn't cut it anymore. He doesn't read the runs for him to intercept as fast as he once did, and the time spent as the best CDM in history has honestly trickled him down massively. It's time he moves on, and the club need to let him go. The player which could fill his void is Frankie de Jong, and with him it's also very simple. In parallel to Ter Stegen, these two players have the talent and the self-critical awareness to progress into staple figures of Barcelona's next generation. Frankie was signed to be part of a new breed, and Frankie was signed to stay. Next up, Pedri and Riqui Puig. How much they are alike, and how much people fight over them. It's ridiculous. The attitude is like fighting over Xavi and Iniesta in their time. I'm not talking about quality, I'm not talking about presence, I'm talking about these two players that could form part of this Barcelona side and people spend time trying to race one in favor of the other. It's honestly disgusting. The two must stay 100% and must form part of the next manager's regime. No questions asked, no ifs, they must stay. Ilex Moriba falls under a very similar situation. Whilst he will be further down the pecking order, the reality is that he must form a part of the squad as well. If he stays as a second fiddle, as a part of the squad but never really a starter, I'm afraid that his ability could stagnate, and as a player he could reach some point of where someone like Carles Aleñá is currently in right now, where he's a player that has been loaned out constantly and has never really found his place in the team. Carles Aleñá is also a player that I would like to keep ideally, so with him and Moriba both being substitutes, I guess Aleñá is a little bit further up the pecking order. So I would put Moriba with an asterisk next to his name, loan. Keep him, but if there's no room in this team, loan him out. Felipe Coutinho is up next. The Brazilian is a player that surprisingly, before arriving to Barcelona, I never really liked. I wasn't that hype about his signature, but as he's coming to the fruition in Blaugrana colors, he's gained admiration, might not be the right word, but sympathy, certainly sympathy. I believe Koeman's plan with Coutinho was to play him in the Pedri role, but unfortunately to him injuries hasn't really let him do that. Unfortunately to Barcelona, Pedri has been incredible. So Koeman right now has a very difficult dilemma because he doesn't have room for this world-class player on paper, and this 18-year-old kid is just playing way better. Pedri has been incredible and so good that it has just made Coutinho a tiny little memory. However, the fatigue still shows in a player like Pedri, because a young footballer like him needs to rest, and Coutinho might be there to give some cover. It's redundant though, and funny to a certain extent, to think that Coutinho, a world-class most expensive transfer in Barcelona history, as a reliable substitute to an 18-year-old player. The reality is that time has changed, and if Barcelona can't really find a buyer suitable for Coutinho, and I mean with this no loan, then I think he should stay. Last but not least of the midfielders, we have Miralem Pjanic, and with this one, I am in a very difficult spot, so I really need your help. Let me know in the comments, here is why. On the one hand, Pjanic has been subpar, to be honest, to a fan and club expectation. The Bosnian international has really struggled to find his footing in Barcelona and has seemed as a disposable piece for many of the side's top games. The thing is that his adaptation to the 4-2-3-1 that Koeman played at the start had been horrendous, and he still hasn't even been given the possibility to be tested in the 4-3-3 as a pivot, which I think would honestly suit him the most. Maybe in the second part of the season, which already looks over, Koeman might grant him that possibility. I am TBD, to be honest, with Pjanic, because even though if they sell him, they will get jack shit in return. So trying to find a way to make him fit might be the best for both parties. For the forwards, it's actually a very easy job for everyone except being Griezmann and Lionel Messi. So let's focus and get the youngsters out of the way first. Ansu Fati, Trincao and Conrad are all players and must remain part of Barcelona's setup for the next years. The Spaniard and the Portuguese have featured already and shown that they have quality, potential, and most importantly the conviction mixed with the talent to succeed. The US national team player has seen less opportunities, of course, yeah, but likewise is still more than capable enough to find his room in this next generation. He is pacey, he's dynamic, he's decisive, and even though these small performances hasn't really been enough, it gives you a good tester of what's to come. And similarly with Ansu Fati and Trincao, so we must keep them all. Ousmane Dembele is also a player that Barcelona must keep. Next season, his situation, his contract is running out, so I would say the next president must renew him. When we talk about him, we're mentioning one of the most electric players on the planet, and he is also probably the second or third best in the world when it comes to one-on-one duels and attacking the space. Wingers like him are far and few between, so the club really needs to make him a pivotal part and feel important for what's to come. Mentioning his finishing and lack of resolution, and yes, I understand, that may cause anger, but with a slight injury-free season so far, Dembele has proven to be a crucial component of Barcelona and one they must not lose. So now moving into Antoine Griezmann, he's far more of a mixed debate for sure. Most of the fans have taken now a liking to his person after the month of January in 2021, that has seen him improve vastly in his performances. His contribution is to be admired, and in defense he is one of the few who is willing to track back from the front three and is never truly asking questions. Professionalism is the word I would use to describe him, and particularly professionalism would be what Barcelona requires post-Messi era. If the number 10 is to leave, Antoine Griezmann might be the best shot Barcelona has to replace him. Not in the output, of course not, God no, but in functionality and the role that he plays within the team. The situation with Griezmann is viable for me in conditioning to what happens to Messi. If Messi leaves, then stay. But if he doesn't, and a striker is signed on top of that, I just feel that Griezmann is surplus to requirements. So sell him. You see, I would put him on the keep list right now and put an asterisk next to his name. And with that, we finally reach Lionel Messi territory. I would love to keep him, of course I would, everyone would, but that decision is more in the ballroom of his own. The decision he takes, regardless of the interests of Barcelona, is one that the fan base must respect and understand. And at this point, I'm not really mad if he leaves or sad. If he does leave, I am confident the team can find a proper future without the GOAT. But this video ain't about that. This video is about whether I would keep or sell him. And my decision honestly is that Barcelona should sell. Not forcing his sale by any means, not forcing him out the door, but be in a position where they don't interfere and allow him to make that decision. If he sees a new project and feels he's confident enough, then stay. But if he disagrees, then no more of this contract nonsense trying to force him to stay, that he's a traitor, that he's the fault why Barcelona are this way. He's a free man, and contract ended, I hope this decision shall be respected. This is what is best for me, because if Messi stays, I feel that there is still future in the club with him. But if he leaves, I also think there is future. It's not like it's ending. So I'm really indifferent to the situation. Of course I would like him to stay, he's a great asset to us, but other players has left clubs before, and eventually this time had to come. Maybe he had to retire, maybe he's leaving to a different club, but I'm still gonna be supporting this team, and I hope you do so as well. That's gonna be everything for right now, guys. Hope you have enjoyed. Be sure to let me know in the comment box down below, what do you think of this video? What do you think of my decisions? Do you agree? Did you not? And with that being said, just basically subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Ciao, ciao.